Are you ready? You think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters.
Welcome to another week of Heels Forever podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Edelman. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Brody James. Brody, how's your weekend going?
Going great, man. Happy to have had 3 days.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a very chill weekend for myself as well. Didn't really do too much, especially after the night we had on Thursday. I'll tell you about that off mic. But yeah, it was nice to just kind of sit around and recharge the batteries, so to speak.
Absolutely. It really was.
So I want to start this episode off a little bit differently than we normally do. We had the UFC 295 on Saturday. In my opinion,
Yes.
and I wanted to get your opinion on this too, but I think this is one of the better fight cards that we've had so far as production wise. I feel like every fight, for at least for me, like I'm a big knockout TKO. I'm not more of a technical guy when it comes to stuff like this. So to see every fight end before the third round to me was absolutely amazing. What did you think about the card as a whole?
I knew it was going to be like that when I looked at it. 2 vacant championships. Like, I knew a few people were going to be going to sleep on this night. And it's the Garden, too. A lot of great things happen in the Garden.
Yeah, and it was like, almost right off the jump. I didn't catch the prelims or anything like that, but I feel like, the main card, these guys came out swinging bricks. Like, so many
100%.
shots, I could feel it in my own face. So,
Yeah.
Especially the Jessica Andrade and Mackenzie Dern. I don't really know a lot about Andrade, to be honest, but after seeing her in that fight, I was like, you know what, this might be one to watch moving forward. Is there anybody that kind of stuck out to you and performed more and overcame like what you were expecting them to do?
It was Alex Pereira. I didn't expect that. I thought
Now,
you was give him a lot tougher of a fight, a more drawn out fight, more against the cage, like kind of clinch. I didn't know it was going to come down to that.
Now, I'm having a little bit of trouble remembering because I was kind of watching most of this in a coma. For those of you that don't know, my bedtime is like 9 p.m. So anything after that, I'm fighting for it. Who took the shot to the face on the leg kick? Was that Yuri?
Yes.
Oh my God.
On the leg kick?
Yeah. Wasn't there a leg kick knockout? Maybe it was Matt Frivola that got knocked out like that? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I was in a haze, but
the 2 heavyweight and light heavyweight, like the 2 mains, they were straight shots. They were good shots.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say too.
Shots.
It's like for me, I love watching the heavyweights when it's just banger after banger, and I feel like this one was exactly that, and it was quick. I mean, Aspinall was swinging for the fences, but Sergey was too. He caught that connection, and it was lights out.
Yep. Could have went the other way easily on both fights.
Now, do you think they're going to run that back, or do you see
the heavyweight
maybe Stipe coming after Aspinall at this point?
I don't think so, man. He didn't even look like he should be fighting at all. When I seen him coming through the crowd, I was like, "Oh, bro, don't put this guy back in the octagon again." Like they always stay too much longer than they need to. Like,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
he just didn't look like he was like, I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Honestly, for me, I feel like it would be a bigger draw if they just did John Jones and Stipe. Not even a title doesn't have to be on the line. I just want to see them go at it, and I feel like they need to kind of work their way back towards that after John heals from his torn pec or whatever the hell he's got
I
going on. But
know.
definitely
9 months,
something I'm
10
hoping to see.
months. The division can't be held up like that either for 10 months with no activity. The champion just like not defending the title. That's not really it either.
Well, and that was the kind of weird thing for me because you had this buildup of John Jones and Stipe, and then all of a sudden John Jones is hurt, and they pulled Stipe. And to me, I was like, okay, maybe he was only coming back just to get a shot at John Jones, and he really didn't care. I'm sure the title is definitely a plus, but I think it's more about cementing his legacy at this point.
Yeah, they're going to see who's the greatest heavyweight of all time. That's what this is about.
Now, let me ask you this because, like I said, I don't watch the UFC as much as even I would like to. A lot of times I'm just, doing my own thing. But this Benoit Saint Denis, this dude looked like a straight fucking savage. Like, is that something that I just caught on at this pay per view, like a flash in the bottle, or has this dude always looked as good as he looked on Saturday?
Not always.
No.
Not always. But the TKO was good for him.
Oh, it was great. Like I
The
said,
KO was good for him. Yeah.
for me, this was like the card of my dreams. Every single fight, not going longer than 3 rounds. Actually, none of them made it to the third round, and they were all
Correct.
TKOs. So, that's fantastic for me. I don't know what it is. I just can't sit there and watch some dudes roll around with each other for, 3 rounds. Like, I got buddies that love GSP, and don't get me wrong, he's one of the greats. But every time I watch him, I'm just like, man, I don't want to see you put somebody in a hold and, kind of lay on the ground for the entire round. But that's just me.
Correct. I agree. Not really what I tune in for either.
Yeah. And it's just something I've never understood. Like, and I know, if you want to see knockouts, watch more boxing, blah, blah, blah. But especially the bigger guys, bro, like just give me the bricks being thrown, bombs being landed. I want to see carnage when I'm watching this stuff.
That's exactly what was happening on Saturday night, and I knew that was going to happen. Once they made the card what it was, I was like, oh, they want this to be like real MSG Saturday night heavyweight title fight.
Yeah.
Even the light heavyweight, bro. I'll take the light heavyweight too. That was a great, addition, and
Yeah.
kudos to
And
Dana, man. Kudos to Dana.
this Yuri guy too, like what's his story? Is he good, or was it kind of just he was right place, right time, let's put him in the main event for the vacant belt?
No, he was the champion, and then he tore his I think he broke his collarbone or something like that, and he was out for
Gotcha.
about 9 months, and this was his first fight back.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Yeah,
Like
this
to
was his
me, I'm
first
like,
fight back.
I've never even heard of this guy, and but like I said,
And
don't
yeah,
watch it that
meanwhile,
much.
Pereira won the belt at
That's what I
MSG
was gonna
last
say.
year,
I
but the
knew it.
185.
Yeah, I knew at some point Pereira had the title. I just didn't know how far back it was.
Yeah, but he won the 185 title from Izzy last November in MSG, and then went
Gotcha.
up a weight class and took the belt this November in MSG from the light heavyweight, which is dope. Good for
Savage.
him. And now he's calling out Adesanya for 205.
Listen, man, anytime any of these guys make that weight jump up, I I respect them even more because I can only imagine
Absolutely.
how fucking difficult it would be to weigh more, to be slower, and then you have a guy who fights at that weight every day of his life, just ready to come at you with everything he's got. So
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a good time to me, and it's not something that I would ever want to do.
Gotcha. Yeah. Leave it to them.
Now, kind of shifting away from that because it is Sunday. We got some NFL games going on right now. We had a great lineup earlier this morning, especially the Colts. I don't know if the Colts looked good or if New England just looked that bad. Like we're so used to seeing
Oh,
New England
bro.
as a good football team, and bro, you bench your starting quarterback with less than 2 minutes to go, and then your backup throws a pick to end the game, like down by 4 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, bro.
I'm not understanding, like,
Yeah.
is this your way of telling Mac Jones to go get fucked and, you're moving on to Zappy. I guess we'll find out. They have a bye week this coming week, so we'll have to wait a little bit to see what's going on with that. But um,
Gotcha.
did you have any time? Did you catch any of the 1 o'clock games today?
I did catch some of the 1 o'clock games. I was enjoying. Let me see. Where was I at? I actually enjoyed the Browns Ravens game, bro.
Sweet baby
I was
Jesus.
like keeping eyes on that for the minute. The Texans Bengals was good too.
Yeah, and that
Absolutely.
was kind of a point I wanted to touch on after I was, glowing in the Browns win today. I have never been so close to having a heart attack in my entire life than every Sunday at about 3:30 because these motherfuckers can't figure out how to close out a game.
I know. Good win against division rival, though, brother. Good win
Yes,
against
great.
division rival for sure.
A sloppy win is still a win. I'll still take it, but they got to figure it out. Deshaun Watson did not look good up until the fourth quarter. It's just, especially being in that division, it's so tough. So, every win fucking counts. And if you're not playing up to the level that you need to be, it's very easy to get a loss moving forward. So I'm still pretty nervous about them. Yeah, the win was great, but I don't know. But yeah, Houston Cincinnati game was amazing. CJ Stroud looks like he's been playing in the fucking league for 5 years
I
now.
know. Fucking kid slinging it, bro. I
Do
was
you
like, Robert Woods caught a fucking.
do you think that this year we
That
see a
was good.
rookie quarterback win MVP?
No.
Like it's an honest question because like at the level he's playing,
Is it
who would
possible? Yes. But
who would you
bro,
give it to over him though?
they'd have to be deep in the playoffs, bro.
Bro, if
They'd have to be
even if they
deep
make
in
the
the
wild
playoffs.
card, I think this dude should get the MVP. Like they had the number one pick
Ah.
or the number two pick. I'm sorry, they had pick 2 and pick 3 last year. I think they won
That's
maybe
true.
2
That's true.
games, and now they're
Give you
beating
that.
Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Like it, I don't know. We'll
Detroit
see.
just kicked the field goal to beat the Chargers.
I was just about to say that. I just saw that. Good because I picked them in my pick'em league. I like the Lions, man. The only thing I wish they would replace is Jared Goff. I feel like he does play.
Interesting.
He does play really well, but a lot of times there are still those inconsistencies that and it's just little things. But with the team they have now, granted, the Chargers have a high-powered offense too. But with the team they have, I feel like they should be playing a lot better. Even though they are 6-2, I'm still wanting more from that whole entire offense right now. Um,
Gotcha.
do you
Gotcha. Okay.
think do you think the Lions have a chance to make a playoff run while we're talking about them? Because Amon-Ra
I
St. Brown is
do.
pretty good.
I
Jahmyr Gibbs
do.
is pretty good. I just
I think they can make a run. I think if they draw the right team in the wild card or whatnot,
yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're
I think
wrong
it'll be
there.
a good time for them. If they
Speaking
draw
of
like Dallas in the first round or something like that, or like Washington, if they, you know what I mean, like if they draw this kind of like caliber team in the first round, hell yeah.
we just
But then either way, like they got to go through San Francisco or
right.
Philadelphia. Like
That's what I was going to
like
say. That NFC side, man, as a
yeah.
whole, like it's almost like all the powerhouse teams have kind of shifted into the NFC. Other than a couple teams that we have on our side with like
Ooh,
Cincinnati and
bro, Washington tied it up.
I was just gonna say that I'm watching it too. I have the little ticker going on. I'm like, oh
All right,
shit, they
no doubt,
tied it
no
up.
doubt. I won't spoil it on us. Nice catch.
And speaking of playoffs, let's talk about a team that's not going to see the
Okay.
playoffs anytime soon. And probably not for the next 2 or 3 years. The New York Giants are so fucking bad, bro.
Oh, bro.
Like I was watching them earlier because that's like what's on the local Fox here before I turned on Red Zone. And
Gotcha.
I was just like, I have never seen it. Even Saquon, like they don't, none of the plays they call look in sync. Like they all look lost. Yeah, they have their third string quarterback in, but even when they had Danny Dimes, they were still playing like dog shit. So
I know, bro.
they have a lot to
It was
figure out,
miserable.
especially because every other team in that division, I feel like, is on the up and up, and they're just getting worse. Like, you have Washington playing Seattle right now. It's 19-19. Sam Howell's been
Yeah, they
playing
can
at
go
a
to
good
five and
level.
five right now, Seattle.
Exactly.
I mean, and
Seattle's
so could Washington actually.
Seattle's a tough call for me too because they have so many good players on this team, with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, two very young but good running backs. DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. You got Tyler Lockett. Very high powered offense, but they have, kind of the same issue that the Giants have right now where they don't have a fucking quarterback. Geno Smith should not be your starting quarterback, bro. Like,
Agreed. Not
it,
that he hasn't slung it, and he's won a lot of games, bro. For them, to be honest, like he has,
yeah, but
and he
that's the
puts them in a
thing,
good
though,
position.
man. Like, and I understand why some of these teams do this, but you get this guy who's been, normally a bench player other than a couple years. He has one great season, which, yes, last season he was amazing. You sign him to this huge fucking deal, and now you're tied with the Washington Commanders going into the fourth quarter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it
That's
just
true
doesn't make
shit. Yeah,
sense. You
like
you
tied
could
with
have
the Commanders.
you could have potentially found
Yeah,
another quarterback in the draft, and kind of build him up, and maybe that's still their plan. I don't know what their draft stock looks like right now as far as draft picks and everything, but they got to get that quarterback situation figured out.
yeah, they do. 100%.
And
Just seen Arizona just kick the game-winning field goal against Atlanta. Kyler Murray's first game back.
I knew that was gonna fucking happen, man. Like, I knew as soon as, well, they got lucky too because they had James Conner come back too. So, you're kind of rolling back with
True.
your top defense or top offensive guys. I'm
Yes,
kind of
sir.
curious to see, what they do in the draft, because I could easily see them taking like a Marvin Harrison Jr. at pick 3 or 4 or whatever pick they'll have.
That would be. I could see that too.
But I could also see them just moving off of Kyler at this point, because I don't think he's ever going to be an elite guy, especially like, and it's not a knock on him, but the size that he's at, all the injuries he's already had, I could see them taking a quarterback too and just kind of starting over. It's not like they have like a whole lot of weapons on offense and defense anyways that, wouldn't make too big of a difference.
I agree. I like it. I could see someone like Kyler Murray going to somewhere like Seattle though next year.
Yeah, maybe Seattle, maybe Atlanta. They're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
figuring out their
Ah, there you
quarterback
go.
shit too. I'm trying to think,
Maybe
maybe like
Atlanta.
Pittsburgh too, because Kenny Pickett, he's dog shit. Who
I
knows?
know they
Maybe even
wanted it to
fucking
be
Cleveland.
so work out
Like,
with him.
oh, I know, dude.
They did.
I will say
They
one
won
thing
today though.
about
Beat Green Bay.
Pittsburgh. When they get those guys from Pitt, it doesn't matter how bad they play, to an extent that they'll just like jock ride no matter what.
Yeah.
Like they did that with
Like
James
Cooper
Conner
Rush is
too.
in.
Cooper Rush is in.
Cooper Rush. Yeah,
Well,
he's
yeah, it's
in there. But
42
they're
to
winning
10.
40. Nah, bro.
I was like, oh shit, did that get hurt? But no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to put this on record too. I'm still so fucking disappointed that we're not going to get to see Aaron Rodgers as of yet play with this New York Jets offense,
I think we'll
because
see it soon.
I think the only way we see it is if they make the playoffs. And I think that's still going to be very risky to put him in at that point. But if he can play, put him in, because I want to see it. I waited all
Bro,
fucking off season to see this dude in this offense, and it is a shame that we are
I'd
not
take this
getting it
guy off a ruptured Achilles at 40 years old, and I would half these
over Zach Wilson.
motherfuckers healthy on this. Yeah, bro, come on.
Bro, honestly, though, let's be real for like 2 seconds. Zach Wilson hasn't been playing terrible. He's definitely shown improvement compared to even the beginning of this season or last season, however you want to look at it. He's been playing
But he
better,
still
but
brought in another quarterback.
right. I mean, he's still not going to be Aaron Rodgers no matter what he
No, definitely
does.
not. No. Tennessee got their ass whooped by Tampa Bay today.
I started Will Levis in my league back home because I was like, you know what? He had a bad game last game, but I honestly thought he would bounce back against Tampa. And boy, was I fucking wrong, because this dude, I think he got me like 0.06 points. Like, I could fucking wake up from a nap and probably put up those same amount of points in an NFL game. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, guys, brutal. I got my ass whooped this week in fantasy too. Not good. Everyone was on a bye. AJ, Tyreek. Oh, it's miserable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was looking at that too. I saw that it was a rough bye week for you.
Yeah, okay.
I've lost every league that I'm in this week. That's how it was for me. So I kind of quit
That's
checking it
rough,
after the
cuz.
1 o'clock games.
Gotcha. That's rough.
So what do we got for the late game tonight? Oh, we got the Jets and the Raiders. And then who do we have tomorrow night?
I like this one. The Broncos and the Bills. Gives me fucking nostalgia. I like it.
Bro, it does give me the nostalgia feeling because like those were the two teams that were bigger when we were younger, but I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think
I think it's gonna be.
there's absolutely no way that the Broncos win that game. They are one of the worst teams in my opinion as far as offensively. Their defense hasn't really been too great either. Russell Wilson might be, to the point where he needs to think about hanging it up because he's not putting up the production that, he's used to. Do you
I mean,
do, do you see a turnaround in Denver, or do you think,
I
they
think they.
kind
I
of
think if they win 2 games in a row, they'll be 500. I think that's a fucking start. I think you have teams like I said, like that are as bad as them, like the Raiders. Like, I mean, there's a lot of teams a lot worse, like Chicago,
true?
I said no. I was about to say North Carolina, fucking Carolina. Um,
That's
who else
another
is
one,
dog shit?
man.
New England. New England's fucking dog shit.
Carolina has their
Yeah,
fans like ready to fucking burn that stadium down, bro. Like they've been doing
Arizona.
like rallies and shit outside of the stadium because they're playing so bad and they don't have a first round pick. I
I'm
I
surprised
don't.
Foxborough's still standing, bro.
You know what? I don't fucking feel bad for any of them because my team always sucks, bro. Like get over it. It's fucking
Yeah,
football.
it's like the polar opposite of teams.
Yeah, and even if you have a shitty season this season, especially New England, like you guys had 22 straight like winning seasons. Fuck off.
Yeah, bro. That's
Like
crazy.
let my
It's a
Browns
lot.
slide in there.
Yeah, definitely holding up position in the playoffs.
So I saw a graphic before the 1 o'clock game started. If the season ended today, before the 1 o'clock games, all
Okay.
4 teams in the AFC North would make the playoffs.
I seen that too. I seen that on IG.
And I'm like, why the fuck can't we be in like Tennessee's division where you have one team that's good, which would be the Browns in this case? Like every year of my life, it's like the Browns build a good team, and then Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati decide that they're going to be really fucking good too.
I
So, like, I remember one year, bro, we went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs.
remember that. Who's the quarterback? Derek Anderson.
Derek Anderson, Braylon Edwards. Oh
Yeah,
man,
there you go.
takes me
That was a good
back.
tandem.
It
Yeah,
was.
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just heartbreak after heartbreak. So I do not feel bad for anybody else. You guys can all get fucked. Do not care.
Cold from the Browns fan. What do we got going on in WWE this week?
So we had a lot going on in WWE this week. We had the announcement that we've all been waiting for. Hopefully Ray can add a little drum roll into this later. They announced War Games for Survivor Series. It's going to be the Judgment Day versus Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso. But I've also been hearing little murmurs that there's going to be a 5th member for Team Rollins
Did you say a
and
5th member?
a 5th member for the War Games.
So 5-on-5, classic Survivor Series style in the
Yes,
War
sir.
Games.
And the rumor is that Randy Orton is going to be that 5th member. Now,
Oh, I'm with that. Play the
they
music now, bro.
so I can't confirm for sure, but a very reliable source that I usually get some information from on X had posted that they wanted to keep it a surprise, but because so many people were thinking that CM Punk is going to be the one that makes an appearance, they're trying to avoid that. And apparently, Randy Orton is going to debut again sometime this week or next week before War Games, which I don't love. I always like when they do the returns in the pay-per-view, but I also understand from a standpoint of you got all these people who think that fucking CM Punk is coming back, which you already know how I feel about it. I hope to God it never happens. Locker room cancer guy. We don't need it. So I think they're just trying to nip it in the bud and, get this debut up a little
I-
sooner.
I'm seeing things all over X that this guy's like dropping subliminals on IG stories and shit.
Oh, dude,
I don't know, bro.
I don't
I wouldn't
remember.
mind
Oh,
him coming back as a heel. I won't lie to you.
fucking Grayson Waller posted something
There you go.
on Friday night during SmackDown, and CM Punk like replied with like a kiss face emoji or some shit, and everyone lost their shit. And I'm like, bro,
You
this
never
dude is one
know,
of the
bro.
biggest fucking trolls on the face of the planet.
100%.
He's not coming back. They don't want him back. I'm sure he would love
But
to
you
be
do
back.
that mixed with, I heard the company's been dropping signals in their promos. You know, guys saying things that he said on AEW TV. A lot of things, a lot of
Yeah,
things.
and
What
they
if he does
have
come
been,
back as a
man.
heel though? What if he joins like the Bloodline? Like, and that's how it kicks off. Like this guy joins.
So I would bring him back as a heel. I wouldn't put him back in a faction because I feel like he doesn't play well with others as it is. But I could definitely
Mm-hmm.
see, him
Coming back as a heel.
doing a heel run with like Cody or Seth. Maybe not Seth because they both fucking hate each other.
Oh,
But
that would
but
be
yeah, I
clean.
mean, I
Him
wouldn't
and Seth
mind
would
it,
be good, bro.
bro. I don't think Seth would ever get in the ring with him. He's kind of like the same thing with Will Ospreay, who we were talking about the other day. They just
Gotcha.
hate each other so fucking much that it's more than just the character. But
Why? Oh, was Punk trying to hold them down when they were doing the Shield?
honestly, I don't really know exactly what happened or what caused it. I've just seen the multiple promos from Rollins in like not
Gotcha.
even promo form, just real life interviews where he's like, "Nah, fuck that guy. Like, don't
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back
yeah.
here. We
I
don't
read a
want
few
you back."
things where he was like trying to hold them down in NXT. Didn't want to lose to them when they came up on the main roster when they were, attacking him, initially.
Isn't that
He didn't want to make them he didn't want to make them look good, and Vince kept telling them like, book them strong and do all this, and he didn't want to do it. So
Isn't
they're
that
like,
kind of
fuck
what
this
happened
guy.
in AEW as well? Like, wasn't that what was kind of causing problems because he didn't want to put other people over? Or did I
Well, I mean, bro,
mishear the situation?
it could be, but he created a whole show for himself on Saturday night. What did you think you want to do? It's just going to be Saturday night. CM Punk wins every Saturday night. Fucking Collision. Like, come on, bro.
Right.
You gotta put people over here and there. Like, the guy can't be sour like that.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if they're trolling or not, but either way, I personally, I don't give a fuck. Like, if they want to bring him back, let the Marks have him back. It'll be good for a month or two, and then shit'll hit the fan and he'll be gone. So it's neither here nor there at this point.
Fair
Another
play.
thing
Fair
I
play.
wanted to talk about, and I know you have to be fucking excited about this, as we all saw, and we all kind of knew what was going to happen, but you had The Miz winning the Fatal 4-Way to challenge
Yes, sir.
Gunther at Survivor Series for the IC title. Did you catch this match at all?
I didn't catch the match. I seen some highlights on IG.
So I watched it, and the ending was, I don't remember exactly how it ended, but I just remembered it was a very sloppy ending.
Oh, come on, bro.
Found out afterwards, though, that at some point during that match, Ricochet took a shot to the head somehow, completely blacked out, doesn't even remember the match, and still, ended up finishing with The Miz. And that was why it was so sloppy. So after I saw that, I'm like, at least dude's fine. Hopefully, nothing serious going on. I haven't heard anything since, so I'm assuming
Okay,
he's
so there was a
okay.
reason for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
botch at the end. I gotcha.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you that it kind of looks like Gunther's going to drop the title finally?
If it's gonna be to anyone, it should be to the Miz, bro.
I agree. I think he's one of the best to ever hold the title, so I'm not mad about it. My only concern
Correct.
with it, though, is if they have him drop the title to Miz, because, in WWE's eyes, you can tell, like, they view him as one of their guys. I'm just concerned that now, if he drops this title, it's going to go into his own World Heavyweight Championship run, and I feel like we've already got too many of those fucking storylines going on right now.
Yeah, he's got to stay around that belt for right now.
That's my thing too,
He's
because I'm
got
like,
it. But a
as
great
much,
feud with the Miz would maybe it might make us like him a little bit more. Maybe we'll see a different side of him in a feud with Miz, or I think that's probably the reason for it. They probably put him in a different spotlight than the feuds he's been having for the title. This is different. Miz is a different kind of main event, bro.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say too. Is somehow, some way, Miz always finds a way to to make everybody else look better in the ring when they're with him. So, maybe this ends up to you liking Gunther. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think Miz is good at bringing out the characters. Like I was saying yesterday on the last episode, like taking the time to invest in the character. I think Miz does more of that backstage run-ins and promos with the with not necessarily Renee Young, but with
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Caleb Braxton in the back, and he does more of the stuff like that gets you interested in the storyline. And then they deliver a great match for the payoff. I mean, he's a veteran, the Miz. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited for this one at Survivor Series. I'm actually going to watch Survivor Series this year, probably for the first
Me
time
too.
in a couple years. So I'm pretty excited, looking forward to it. The next thing I want to talk about is Zoe Stark. Let me kick the tires on this a little bit, but they had a women's battle royal. Um,
Oh,
Not even sure how many women were in it, to be honest. There may have been 6 or 8. Winner faces Rhea Ripley at Survivor Series. Zoe Stark ended up taking the victory. It was Nia Jax shouldn't have been in the match once again, but they honestly, man, I like the angle of Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley. I think they could put on a good match together. It's something that I'm still not that excited about because I feel like it's going to be very low on this card. It's probably going to be a match to forget, but I mean, I do think they have a chance to kind of surprise us. I think Zoe is a good performer in the ring, and I don't think they're going to take the title from Rhea, though, so I don't really want to spend too much time on this one. I just kind of wanted to get your take on what you think about Zoe Stark getting that win.
it's a fresh face.
True.
Someone new to go after the title and keep things fresh. Someone that you can have a storyline with for the next 2 months to get you to Royal Rumble till whoever Jade or whoever Bianca is going to come challenge her for the title. I like it, and it also builds Zoe Stark in the meantime.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say is they're kind of slowly but surely figuring out a way to build up their lesser known talent, which I'm all about because you can only see the same people so many times before you get, tired of them, no matter who it is. Um, so I didn't bring this up at the beginning when we were talking about Raw. I kind of wanted to save it for the end. Show opened up on Monday night with Sami Zayn and Rollins in the ring. Rollins basically tells Sami he respects him, yada, yada, yada. Tells him he can have a title match whenever he wants. So immediately, crowd goes wild. Sami thinks it over, and then he decides he wanted the title shot on Monday night. It was a very good match, and it was to the point where at some points I thought they were going to give the belt to Sami, and rightfully so. I feel like the guy's done everything to deserve a title shot. He's done enough in my eyes to have a title run. Do you think we're going to get a Sami Zayn champion in the near future, or do you think he's kind of just going to be, that guy that lingers around but never wins the belt?
Bro, where's the triple threat match at Survivor Series with them and Drew? What is this? Oh, are they all in the match? In the War Games match?
Yeah, so they
Is that
haven't
why the belt's
announced.
not on the line? That's so crazy.
Yeah, and they haven't announced Drew yet to be in that match. But if you're putting in Randy Orton, I would only imagine that it would have to be Drew on the other side of it. So maybe this is where we see Drew McIntyre join the Bloodline.
Gotcha.
Or not the Bloodline, I'm sorry, the
Judgment
Judgment
Day.
Day. Yeah.
Yes,
It's all the same.
I could
It
see
doesn't
that
matter.
too. Yeah, absolutely. I thought that this should have been on pay-per-view. I don't
Oh,
think that Rollins and Sami Zayn should have had this match on fucking Monday Night Raw. Like, this is not 97 WCW, bro. Like, this should have been on some kind of premium live event with a lot more meaning.
so I have to disagree with you on that. I
Okay.
love when you get heavyweight championship title matches on Raw or on SmackDown. I feel like it's something they don't do enough. So to have one that was as high level as this one was, it was actually my favorite part of the entire show.
I have no doubts.
Sammy is one of the best performers in the ring, on the mic and, as a whole. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to give him a shot to actually win the title. Even if it's like I said, or like you just mentioned, a triple threat match, and you even have him pin Drew or whatever the fuck you guys want to do. Just give my man the title, even if it's for a week. Like we made it happen with Kofi. Why can't we make it happen with Sammy?
I don't know. I just think his reign should mean more. Guy's been in like meaningful storylines for like 4 years. Hasn't sniffed that fucking title.
True.
And like if you think about it, every year come Mania, whose storylines have been creating juice for like 3 or 4 years, bro.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'll definitely say is Sami Zayn and KO both, man. They don't get enough credit
Correct.
for as much weight as they carry over there. So
Like
kudos
both
to
of them
them.
versus each other for the belt would be at
It would be a
WrestleMania.
5-star match,
Correct.
100%.
For the belt too. Like this is what I'm saying. Shit that people will remember. I don't know why they're dropping the ball on so many of these storylines.
That's what they're notoriously known for. I mean,
I
as I
know.
said before, you had Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark. Trish
Poof,
Stratus
done.
turned on Zoe, and then she was gone. Like they
No payoff. No
no
payoff
payoff
match.
whatsoever.
No, nothing for Zoe. Crazy, bro.
So jumping out of Raw over to SmackDown, you had the show start out with the LWO, Santos Escobar and Carlito. Carlito is kind of accusing Santos of causing friction in the group because Rey Mysterio ended up with that U.S. title shot. Santos kind of coming at him like it should have been me, yada, yada, yada. And then Carlito accused Santos of helping Mysterio lose at Crown Jewel because if you remember the Brass Knucks, you
I
had
do
Santos come
remember. I
out to
do
save it, but then
remember.
he put them back on the ring mat before he, ran away.
Correct.
So there was definitely something brewing with them. And then kind of leading off of that, you had Bobby Lashley and Carlito in a match. Not one of my favorite moments, to be honest. Anytime Bobby Lashley's in a match, I just kind of feel like, for one, I'm not that interested because he's not good to me. I get that he's got the look, but he doesn't have the mic skills. He's not very good in the ring. And I just feel like it's either a squash match or it's just another drawn out match that I lose interest in. So I don't really want to spend a lot of time on this one. Bobby Lashley just, beat him down. Montez Ford getting a cheap shot in, which I still love. Montez Ford and Dawkins in the Hurt Business. Like, I don't even know if it's called the Hurt Business, but as far as I'm concerned, this is what the Hurt Business should have been. So that's what I'm going to call him.
Gotcha.
I think this has a chance, if they play it right, to be one of the better factions we've seen in a long time as far as entertainment, as long as you keep the mic out of Bobby Lashley's hands.
Guaranteed.
Do you think we're going to see, there's two options that are going to happen here. It's going to be, either they turn on Bobby Lashley or they end up getting all the gold in this faction, which I wouldn't be mad about, to an extent. I like when they give new factions the belts and let them run a little bit, kind of what they're doing with Judgment Day right now. Do you think that, these guys are going to end up holding all the gold, or do you think this is kind of just building up to a blow up?
I don't think they're gonna give them gold. I don't know. I gotta see more from them.
I agree.
I don't think they'll give them any gold right away. But I think, like you said, if they can keep the mic out of Bobby Lashley's hands and let the other two do what they got to do in the ring, I think it'll be mint.
And kind of shifting off of that as well, after the match, Santos Escobar attacked Carlito and Rey Mysterio. So you had a heel turn here. I'm not sure where they're going with this. I feel like this is putting Rey Mysterio in another feud that we could have done without. I don't think Santos is ever going to be a guy that they make the guy. So I kind of feel that this storyline isn't really going to have, like, what are you going to do? You're going to have Rey Mysterio win. There's no payoff that's going to benefit either one of these guys.
I'm with you on that. I think Rey Mysterio needs to hang back for a little while, come back at Mania, have his last match, and then ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that. I feel like, he kind of knows his time's coming, so I could see Santos getting put over here and kind of riding that momentum to WrestleMania. Probably looking at, I would assume, a United States Championship match with Logan Paul at that point.
Good booking, Kenny.
Yeah, I'm available, WWE, so you can find me. Another thing that happened on SmackDown was Kairi Sane, however you pronounce her name. If I mispronounced it, might be, joined Damage Control. And if I am reading this correctly, they had a 6-man tag match on SmackDown. It was Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka against Damage Control. You had Asuka pull a turn and join Damage Control.
I seen that. I did see that. She's got like
What?
heel gear and shit going too. She cut the hair short and everything. Like she looks a little different.
So to me, I feel like this is setting up the female War Games.
Absolutely.
I
But
feel
Bailey's
like,
gonna be on Charlotte's side.
well, that's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
feel like the rest of
Yeah.
Damage Control is gonna turn on Bailey in this match
100%.
and kind of
Yeah,
push
it'll
her
be
out. It
like,
just seems like that's the way it's going.
yep, she's the only one that looks different.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up, we had Dragon Lee and Cedric Alexander. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Dragon Lee picked up the victory.
All right.
You
It's a
know,
solid Friday night SmackDown match, bro. It's just a solid
yeah,
wrestling match for everyone to enjoy some in-ring stuff,
yeah, it's definitely, a good filler match for sure. Nothing stood out too crazy about
Yeah,
it.
it's a match for the crowd.
Yeah, Dragon Lee ended up picking up the win. The next thing that I wanted to discuss, we had LA Knight, who I'm still heartbroken, got screwed over by that son of a bitch Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Should have been an easy dub. Comes out and he vows to once again face Roman Reigns. He says he's not done with the bloodline. The bloodline's not done with him. Then you had, him kind of going back and forth with Grayson Waller on X over the week, which was great content. I loved every second of it. I think Grayson Waller is
As
a
did
good
I.
spot in this too.
Yep.
So Grayson Waller ends up coming out and they kind of go back and forth. LA Knight hits him with the microphone, dumps a bottle of water on him.
Yep. Real Dylan down his style.
Yeah, exactly. Some good shit. Then he ends up going one-on-one with Grayson. He ends up beating him, neither here nor there. I've heard the rumors that they're kind of saying LA Knight and Logan Paul for the United States title at WrestleMania, but I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to see an LA Knight maybe either Elimination Chamber win to face a champion at WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble victory to face Roman again. I think we're
Let
going to
me
get a
ask you
run
this,
back.
bro. Do you think he has 2 years, 3 years in him?
Right now?
Yeah. Do you think all right, so say all right, we'll give him the World Heavyweight Championship at Mania this year. Like he'll win
Mhm.
it off Drew or Seth or one of these guys, and he'll win and then the year after maybe he'll get the the undisputed. Maybe like Cody goes to get it from Roman, then he goes to get it from Cody, not this year, but the next, at 41.
I mean, How old
Or do you
is
think he needs it now? Like he's getting too old. Like 2 or 3 years from now, he'll be washed. He won't be. It won't be him.
I know
They'll
he's
kill
over
him off in that time.
is he I know he's over 40, but he's not like 45, right? Is he over 45?
I'll tell you right now. He's 41.
41.
He just turned 41 November 1st.
Man, that's tough because I in a perfect world, yes, I think he could make it 3 more years, but in my head, I'm like, yo, the dude's 41. Like at some point, your body's not going to be able to perform at the level that it normally does. To me, I think they got to put the title on him as soon as possible, even if they give him a 1 month run or 2 months or even a week or so. Like, just put the belt on somebody
Damn,
else
a
for a little
week,
bit.
son.
Well, obviously, I don't want the guy to only
Shit.
have a week, but what I'm saying is
Just let
the
him win the
reason,
fucking belt. Yeah,
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 it's
correct.
just getting stale, man. Like, everybody that's why they're so high on this guy because they're tired of fucking seeing Roman Reigns. So I hope they
Correct.
make
I
the right
agree.
decision and place the belt on someone else. But the more and more closer we get to Hogan's record, it makes me think, if he does win a title, it's not going to be against Roman. As much
Is
as
that a
I hate
hot
to say
take?
it, I don't think it's a hot take. I would say if I said it before Crown Jewel, I would say yes, it's a hot take. But to have that match, and Roman's not scheduled for anything the rest of the year, I don't see them having him drop the belt at the Rumble, which should not happen in the first place. A guy like Roman needs to be in the main event at WrestleMania, so we all know that's going to happen. My thing is, once you get to WrestleMania, I think you're only 2 months after that, maybe 3 months away from beating Hogan's record. Like, I don't see them
Yes,
taking that belt from him if they're that close,
I agree.
especially with this new company and just trying to erase everything that Vince McMahon has ever done. Like, did you see the other day that he sold like 8 million shares?
Yeah,
Like
like
they're
8.4.
Yeah, that this fucking TKO, bro, they're trying to get him the fuck out of there, and I love every second of it because this dude tried to like close out his family from the business, and now the people that bought the business are like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I got you.
it's nice to see, especially with all the bullshit that he's been putting on our TVs for the last 5 years.
All right, let's jump into the hot take section. We'll kind of around that point in the episode.
Yes.
Should we open up the hot takes to everything? Anything? Sports, music, movies, cinema, fighting?
You know
3 hot
what?
takes for anything?
For the sake of what we've covered, I feel like we should kind of keep it between, wrestling, sports. I don't want to get too far out on, music and movies.
All
Um,
right. I had some
but
good
yeah,
shit.
well,
All right.
you know what? Fuck it. Give me your hot take.
All right, fuck it. We'll save it to these topics. We'll hit next week with the other shit. It'll give me a week to think about stuff too.
All right.
And that new Thanksgiving movie's coming out, so we'll have other stuff to go by, and
Yes.
we'll cover that kind of shit. So let's just jump in for the hot takes of the week. All right, I'm gonna go in hot take of the week and say the Lions will make the NFC Championship.
Really?
Yes.
I'm going to say a not hot take right now and say you're out of your fucking mind. No fucking way that happens.
Okay.
I am going to kind of go back into the wrestling world with my hot take for today.
Gotcha.
I think you see a Money in the Bank cash in after War Games. I think after
After
War
the
Game,
actual match,
yeah, I think after the
while
match,
everyone's like dead in the cage.
dead, bro. That way, you can't be like, oh, let's have 20 more minutes of bullshit. It'll just be, I think Judgment Day is going to take actually, no, I think that Rollins' team is going to win the War Games overall. but then I think he gets blindsided and Damian Priest does a cash in and takes the title home. That's my hot take.
Did he ever get the briefcase back from Sami Zayn?
Yes, they had a segment the day after where Adam Pearce made Sami Zayn give it back to him. That's actually
that's horseshit, bro.
That's why Rollins
Horseshit.
gave Sami Zayn a title shot, because he had to give back the
Gotcha.
briefcase. Should have touched on that.
I'm gonna finish off the third hot take with I think Sami Zayn holds gold at the end of WrestleMania 40. I just don't know which belt it is.
I'll agree with you on that. Especially like we kind of covered earlier, at the level he's been at, I don't think there's not too many people on Raw that would deserve to have gold more than he should.
Ding ding, for sure.
All right, so I think we have covered everything that I was looking to cover today. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I want to just kind of give a segue into the next episode. I did want to go into movies and etc. because the strike is over.
Yes, it is. Insert
So-
applause.
Yes, correct. Yes.
It's about time, bro. I'm actually so excited because seeing like, and we'll definitely get into this on the next episode if that's the route we go. But to see all these posts on X and IG about all these movies and shows and even video games that are now on pace to come out, like, it's just thank fucking Christ that it's over.
Absolutely. And you know which one I'm seeing the most of?
What's that?
7. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely been popping up on the feed a lot. I'm very excited about it. That, and we're getting pretty close to the boys. So
Absolutely. I gotta watch Gen V.
oh, bro. Spoiler
Is it really
alert.
that good?
Gen V is fucking awesome.
Really? And
It's
they said
not-
that, like, the end of it goes into the boys, so I kind of gotta watch it.
Yeah, so from what they said on X, though, they said even if you don't watch Gen V, like, you're not going to be that lost. But you have just watch it. It's not as good as season 3 of The Boys, but it's still very good, and it's a very good story.
All right, deal.
All right.
I'll definitely throw that on with Jenny now.
Go ahead and tell the people where they can find you on socials.
At Heels Forever Pod. Heels Forever Podcast on everything.
Everything.
Google, Insta, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok too. Woo.
Video coming soon.
Yes, video coming soon of this podcast.
Yes.
But thank you for tuning in and enjoying what's so far done of season 1 of the Heels Forever podcast. I'm Brody James, and this is Kenny Edelman.
This is Kenny Edelman. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
You got it, brother.
Time to play the game!